Hello guys, welcome to another video. Like always, these stories that belong to me and the link to the origin post will be in the description. That being said, let's get into the video. The Son of the Sannin, Chapter 4 and Part 4. The Hyuga appears. Our bloodline limits are not a substitute for anger management. 3 years after the Kobir attack, it took them some time, but Jiraiya and Tsunade were able to sort out their issues and decided to give themselves a chance. Things were slow at first, just as Tsunade wanted, but they soon became comfortable with each other and their relationship moved away fast than anyone could had anticipated. And a year after they had their relationship official to Shizune and Naruto, they they agreed to marry. For Shizune's sanity's sake, they also decided to limit any activity remotely linked to sexual intercourse to their bedroom. The girl had an instant talent of finding them if you could call that a talent. While Tsunade and Jiraiya wanted a small, intimate ceremony with their closest family members and friends, in the end it became a huge event due to how many people wanted to witness their union. After the wedding was over, there were two celebrity days for the party across all of Konoha, and it would have been more if Sarutobi didn't use the Anbu to force everybody, especially other ninja, to return to their usual duties. Then had to use the Anbus, goddammit. It was that big. Jiraiya and Tsunade traveled to a village in the land of hot spring, which used to be a ninja village like Konoha, but failed to the lack of quality of the ninja trained there and was converted into a tourist resort, which was a far more successful. That had been a week ago, and a week and a half ago. Naruto was enlightened since today was the day their beloved parental figures would return from their trip. He had begged and cried to take him with them. It took nearly 3 hours until they convinced him to stop begging. The moment the door opened, Naruto immediately bolted from the couch. Shizune had it washed 4 times since the incident. Shizune had it washed 4 times, god damn it, and dashed towards the door. Mom, Dad, you are back! Naruto cheered as he hugged Tsunade's leg. Well, I was going to ask you if you missed us, but guess that's no need to. Tsunade chuckled as she bended to hug Naruto. Welcome back, you two. How was your trip? Shizune asked. Couldn't have been better. The weather was perfect, the food was delicious, and the service nice. But all of it plain in comparison to the wonderful company. Jiraiya said as he put Tsunade near him and kissed her. Didn't you guys get enough fun time already? I don't need more mental scars. Shizune is right, Jiraiya, at least wait until tonight. Tsunade replied as she gently pushed Jiraiya back. I make no promises. Jiraiya said with one of his trademark perverted grins. What amazed me the most is how that place seemed to be always summer. One day it will one day I will find out why did they do to have such a miracle climate like that. You buy me a present? Naruto asked. It was your birthday not even 2 months ago. You already had presents. Tsunade stayed hands to her hips. Naruto's eyes then wandered as his mouth uh, curved down. Tsunade sighed, rolled her eyes, and proceeded to wrap box from under her jacket. There you go, brat. Naruto quickly snatched the box and unwrapped it, revealing to be a set of toy shurikens and kunais made of plastic. Yeah, my first ninja stuff. Naruto cheered as he opened the box. We thought that maybe you could start training with the basics. You will be enrolled in the academy in a couple of years after all. Jiraiya mentioned and ruffled Naruto's hairs. Naruto didn't say anything. He simply looked his present and rushed towards his room and upstairs in order to enjoy his new toy. Boy, I wish everybody else could be so happy with so little, Jiraiya said as he saw his adopted son disappear upstairs. Then he turned his eyes to the young Konoichi. So did something interesting happen while we went out, Sejune? Actually, yes, I have been promoted to Special Johnny, the black-haired girl announced, even jumping in joy. Congratulations, you really deserve it, Jiraiya said, patting her in the back. Oh hell, she deserves to be an actual journey. Tsunade added, a bit upset. Tomorrow I'm going to have a talk with that old monkey and make sure that please don't. I don't want everybody else to think that I got my promotion because of you. Besides, Hokage-sama said that if I keep working hard, I can be an actual jonin within the next year. That's awesome. Come on, we need to have dinner out to celebrate your promotion. Jiraiya suggested it's not necessary. Besides, aren't you too tired from the trip back? Shouldn't you try to rest a bit first? Tsunade frowned. Seriously, Suzune, do I look that old? Isn't my transformation working properly? Okay, let's go have dinner outside. I will get Naruto ready while you two go up unpack. Shizune, oh no, considered as she walked upstairs and show more enthusiasm. Damn it, we are going to celebrate your promotion. The next day, Jiraiya was summoned by an envoy to the Hokage's office with the white-haired Sannin already expecting what his old mentor would ask, and he wouldn't like the answer. After waiting some minutes, an envoy told the Toadsays that he could enter the office. Yuzen was already waiting for him. Welcome back, Jiraiya. Take a seat. So, tell me, how was your honeymoon? Well, that definitely wasn't what he was expecting to ask. It was good. We had a great time there. We might go there again one of our anniversaries. Jiraiya replied, "Good to know. Though I am glad that at least two of my students found happiness with each other. You have probably guessed that the reason that he wrote that two times. That wasn't the reason I called you here. How is your investigation going? Yeah, that was more like it. Truth be told, I hadn't found anything that might exonerate the Uchiha for the Kyuubi's attack. What I did found, however, was that there's a group that has been gathering information about the tailed beast. They call themselves Akatsuki. Jiraiya explained, that's something worrisome. What did you learn about this group? Nothing much, other than they are a recently formed mercenary group. They managed to become well known in the past year due to their high rate of success and absurdly low price. Many villagers, both major and minor, are losing quite some customers to this group. Hiruzen frowned and crossed his under his chin. Well, we will have to keep this group under close watch. Have they tried something like abducting a Jinjuriki from another village? From what I heard, no. That's good. We will inform other villages about our discoveries. Maybe this isn't anything, but you cannot even be. You can never be too cautious. I don't think they will believe anything we might say, and they will think we are trying to trick them. with the exception of Suna. Our relationship with the other with the rest of the village, both major and minors, isn't exactly good. And Suna wouldn't give me good. Suna doesn't give me good vibes either. Actually, that may change soon. We are making preparation for an alliance with Kumagakure. Jiraiya couldn't help but open his eyes wide in shock. Are you serious? Jiraiya almost shouted as he leaned towards Sarutobi. Indeed, I am. The Raikage sent a few days ago a small retainer led by Kumo's head ninja. They want us to sign an alliance treaty. This doesn't smell good. Did you read the treaty? I did, and I found their terms to be reasonable. Neither me nor the council thinks there is reason for not to sign that treaty. I see, but you don't think I should sign it, right, Joraya? Exactly. I mean, I can give up and see and significant revision. It's more like a gut feeling. I mean, don't you find a bit worried that the Regulus jackass that is the Raikage would want an alliance with us all of a sudden? This smells fishy. I did think the same, Joraya, uh, but if never learn to forget past uh, friends game trainers grams then make an effort to create bonds with our former enemies. We will never attain true peace. Maybe the Raikage finally saw reasons. Besides, this can be beneficial for our world. Beneficial for Naruto example. I know that Kumagakure has to Jinjuriki. Both of them had tamed their tail beasts and can use their power without any risk. If this goes well, maybe in the future Kumagakure will share with us what kind of training they did in order to achieve such feat. I know that Minato would have wanted Naruto to learn to use the power of the Kyuubi. If that wasn't the case, he would have used a different skill. If that's the case, I hope that I am wrong. Naruto needs to be as strong as possible, and such training would prove invaluable. Besides, we will need other alliances besides Suna if this Akatsuki group is the threat you fear it is. And with Kumo and Suna on our side, maybe we can pressure Iwa and Kiri to join us. Can you imagine that, Jiraiya? All five villages finally united. Sarutobi looked visibly excited at that prospect as I the culmination of the work of a lifetime. Culmination of the work of a lifetime. It's a pretty good picture, Sensei. But with Kiri's ninja being more unhinged than ever, and how much Iwa hates us, it's unlikely. Unlikely doesn't mean impossible. My former students, anybody would have said that you marrying Tsunade was unlikely, yet look what happened. As long as there's a chance for something wonderful, we should fight for it with all our strength. Don't you think? I guess you're right. Keep up with the Akatsuki. I have a feeling that the mysterious attackers who unleashed the QB was a part of that organization. With enough luck, we might gather enough evidence to exonerate the Uchihas. Speaking of which, how are the Uchihas doing? Sarutobi's expression spelled sadly not good. There seemed to be an information leak, and the Uchiha learned that they are being held as subject for the Kyuubi's attack. And my Anbu are hearing murmurs and rumors about the Uchihas being potentially traitor among the population, being protein traitors. protein traders among the population. As you can imagine, Fugaku-san was far more absurd, amused, embarrassed. This is not good. The Uchiha will grow restless, and that will only make them look more suspicious on Danzo's eyes. That's why your investigation is so important, Jiraiya. I decided to lengthen and let you enjoy some time along with Tsunade, but now it's time to get back to work. We need information on the attack, and we need it as soon as possible. Sarutobi steadily said. The Katsuki lead seem to be the best one. I will continue with that. Good, you are dismissed now. I have a treaty to sign. Unfortunately for the third, his hopes of peace would be cruelly crushed. The very same night the treaty was signed, a masked ninja attempted to kidnap Hiyashi Hyuga's 3-year-old daughter Hinata. Hiyashi killed the man before he could even get out of the Hyuga compound. The kidnapper turned out to be Kumagakure's head ninja. Now it was obvious that the whole treaty was just a ruse to infiltrate a Kumo ninja on Konoha who would abduct and Hyuga. The Kiri's answer came quickly in form of a rather skating later deeming for the killer Hiyashi Hyuga to be executed to be extended to Kumo to be judged for de- deployment attacking a deployment diplomat attacking a diplomat while at the same time denying vigorously denying any kidnap attempt on their part. Refusing the demand would result in war. There was an emergency meeting at the Hyuga compound. Besides, the highest ranking member within the clan, Hirashi, such as Hiyashi Hyuga, leader of the main family, his brother Hisashi, head of the branch family, and their father, a clan elder and former head of the main family. There were also the Hokage Jiraiya, Koharu, Hamura, and Danzo. Our main problem is to avoid a war with Kumo. We haven't recovered yet from the QB attack. We cannot afford going to war so soon, especially not after a village that strong. The Hokage declared. We all read that letter. The only visible solution is for me to be handed over to Kumagakure. It was me who killed the head ninja, so it should be more who shoulder this responsibility. Yashi declared solemnly. Yashi, don't. We can't let the Byakugan to fall into those bastards' hand. The Hyuga head said, I agree. We had the if we hand the Byakugan to the enemy, we will give them a weapon to use against us. What guarantees we have that they wouldn't declare war on us once they forced you to produce enough Byakugan bearers? What guarantee we have that they won't declare war on us once they force you to produce enough Byakugan bearers? Danzo asks. That's why we already have decided a solution. Hisashi will go in your place. We shall execute him in front of the Raikage and hand the corpse to him. That way Kumo wouldn't get the Byakugan and we will avoid the war, the elder said. Upon seeing Hiyashi's reaction, he added, Hisashi already agreed with the plan. Are you really thinking in surrendering to this team? So one of them commits a crime against one of our clan, one our own village, and we are the ones who have to compensate them? What kind of message would be sending to the rest of the village is that we let everybody to trample over us with impunity? Koharu angrily shouted. I agree with Counselor Otatan. Konoha must never kneel before potential enemies. Danzo added, I cannot believe what I am going to say, but I agree with Danzo. Zoraya added. Zoraya shot him a neutral look. This may set a dangerous predicament when other villagers hear of this. What will stop them from making unreasonable demands under the threat of war? But we cannot afford going into a war, Hamura insisted. Even if we win, we would be so weakened afterwards that we would be an easy prey for even the minor villages. Actually, I believe that the Raikage threat of war is just a bluff, Jiraiya stated. What makes you be so sure of that, Jiraiya-sama? Yashi asked. We just killed one of their higher ranked ninja on diplomatic mission. That's a veiled pretty excuse to wage a war, and at least one of the previous wars was waged over since less than that war was waged over even less than that. If they really wanted war, the fourth ninja war would have already been declared. Do you have any idea, Jiraiya? The Hokage asked. As a matter of fact, I do, Sensei. Let's reply their bluff with one of our own. I believe that since neither Tsunade nor I officially went back to active duty, they probably wouldn't know that we are back in Konoha. Let him show that two of the legendary Sannin are back in business, and seeing if he is so eager to wage war against us, then that's a dangerous gamble, Jiraiya. While you and your teammates built quite the reputation during the Second War, it isn't a guarantee that might imitate the Raikage. Guess that after living with Tsunade so much time, some things of a rub off on me. Jiraiya said with a chuckle. Fortunately, my luck will be better than hers. I like your plan, Jiraiya. It's good to see that after all the peaceful ideas Hiruzans surely filled our heads with, you are still capable of some ruthlessness, Danzo told him. Jiraiya raised an eyebrow, then started a compliment for Danzo. Sorry for studying so much. The words are really goddamn mistakes. There is a lot of mistakes here already. He never felt so dirty. Hokage-sama, what is your decision then? Hamura asked. Sarutobi closed his eyes and pondered his opinions for a few minutes. He finally reached a decision. We will follow Jiraiya's plan. I will send a letter to Raikage asking him to meet me on a neutral ground. Once there, we will attempt our bluff. The next week, the Hokage and a group composed of Jiraiya, Jiraiya, Tsunade, Hiyashi Hyuga, Shukaku Nara, Kakashi Hatake, and Shivi Aburame were heading towards the land of Hot Spring, which would serve as a neutral ground where the meeting would take place. Several Chunins were carrying the corpse of the head ninja. Several Chunins were carrying the corpse of the head ninja on a stretcher, as well as the other two Kuma ninja that came with him. They didn't have any woman my size in mind when they made this goddamn black jacket. Tsunade grinned, trying to close her jacket over her massive racks before finally giving up. If it was a man who did, I can guarantee he did. All men have women all men have women your size in mind at some point in their life, Jiraiya said with a perverted grin. Jiraiya, Tsunade shot him a cold glare. Don't give me that look. I am just stating facts. Both of them were wearing a green plaid jacket over a blue long sleeved shirt, blue pants, and a Konoha forehead protector. I can't believe I let you make me agree to this. We had left this shit behind. Tsunade proceeded. Relax, Hime Joraya whispered as he placed a hand on her shoulder. We aren't going to fight just to instill some fear into their bones. This will be over before you realize it. He decided not to tell her about Sarutobi was wearing his battle armor under the Hokage robes. So Sarutobi also hoped that the meeting wouldn't end in a fight, but you could never be too cautious, especially with somebody so rage prone as A. That better be right, Tsunade replied in a threatening tone. Yashi's Byakugan located the Raikage and his entourage who were already in the meeting point, a clearing between a forest and a river. Everybody instantly checked on their weapons. Uh, Everybody instantly instantly checked on their weapons, even if they weren't mean to fight. After a few minutes or more of walking, everybody else saw them. He brought more people than us, Tsunade noted upon glancing at the group of Kumo ninjas. Force not quality. Focus not on quantity, but quality. Do you see the man with sunglasses and a scarf? That blonde woman with a ponytail beside the Raikage? You should worry about those two the most. Let me guess, they are the Kumo Jinjuriki. Correct. The Raikage brought the heavy hitters. I don't like it. Hey, so did we? Besides this confirming my earlier theories, the Raikage wants to intimidate us as well. Now it all depends on who gives in fear first, Sensei or the Raikage. Upon noticing the Hokage's group approaching, the Kuma ninjas walks towards them. Both groups stop at a safe distance from each other. So you finally came, Hokage, and you brought the murderer with you. Good. Hand him to us, and we can get over this already. The Raikage said, his voice dripping with impatience. Not so fast, Raikage Tono. Yes, we are aware of your terms to settle this dispute. I discussed them with my council, and we decided to reject them. What? The Raikage roared. Do you realize this means war, right? I haven't finished yet. Now, you will face my terms. Not only you will cause your demands, but you will apologize to Hiyashi-san, the Hyuga clan head, for attempting to kidnap his daughter right there and right now. As a gesture of goodwill, we will give you back the corpse of the head ninja of Kumo so he can receive a proper burial, as well as the two ninja who came with him. As you see, they received no harm during the time they were under our custody. A looked livid. He was releasing so much killer intent that the Konoha ninjas instinctively reached for their weapons. The Hokage, however, remained impassive. Then the Raikage appeared to calm down and chuckled. I know what you are trying to do, Hokage. You got me there for a second, but I saw through your trap. Still, gotta give you credit to wire for the Gotta give credit to you for the effort. Excuse me, Sarutobi tilted his head, geniusly puzzled. Tell those two subordinates of yours to dispel the transformation. They are not the real Jiraiya and Tsunade. They are only embarrassing all of you. Sarutobi raised an eyebrow. I don't know what you're talking about. Those are the real Jiraiya and Tsunade. Oh, please, the guy posing as Jiraiya is putting some effort, but Tsunade process looks in her 20s. Tsunade propose looks in her 20s, while she should look much older than that. Oh god damn it. Who are you calling old, you stubborn monster? Tsunade bawled as she tried to attack the Raikage. Fortunately, Jiraiya managed to restrain her. Calm down, he may ignore him. He's not worth your time. Jiraiya whispered to Tsunade's ears. Well, if you believe I am bluffing, why don't you check their identity yourself? Hiruzen asked. I see your bluff, Hokage, and I will take it. Darui, come here, he shouted. A dark-skinned man with slaggy blonde hair that covered his left eye, looking no older than 18, who was carrying a rather large sword on his back, stepped forward. Yes, boss. Check if those two are the real Jiraiya and Tsunade or if they are the other two posing as them as I expected. Alright, the young man calmly said and walked towards Jiraiya. He placed his hand on the white-haired man's shoulder and sent a pulse of chakra through his body. Said pulse should have dispelled any transformation as well as any genjutsu case Jiraiya used in case Jiraiya was under one. Yet the Toad Sage remained the same. Darui looked at the Raikage uncomfortably. I'm sorry, boss, but this man isn't under any transformation jutsu. So he was also checking if Jiraiya had been put under some genjutsu for doing this. Nice. The Raikage was trembling with fury. Now the woman, Darui moved towards Tsunade and hesitated for a bit before placing his hand on her shoulder. Besides shooting her a murderous glare, the blonde Sannin was projecting an immense amount of projecting an immense a huge amount of killer intent, as if saying, "Go ahead, put a hand on me. I dare you." Still, Darui was a dutiful ninja and did let Tsunade's anger to get in the way of following his boss's orders. He repeated the process, and Tsunade started to change into a visibly older woman. Ha! I knew it! The Raikage yelled in treatment, but the said triumph provided to be short-lived when Tsunade didn't change any further. She was still Tsunade, only with a few wrinkles. Well, are you happy now, Tsunade? Barks as Darui, who jumped back startedly. Boss, this woman seems to be Tsunade as well, Darui said. Then he turned towards Tsunade again. Sorry for displaying your beautiful transformation, Tsunade-san. Tsunade just growled in return as quickly reapplied the transformation. Darui quickly returned at his boss's side before the Sannin could lash out at him. Since when did those two rejoin Konoha? The Raikage shouted. His anger was an all-time high. 3 years ago, shortly after the QB attack, the village needed help and they heeded our call. In fact, they are even married not long ago and have an adopted son. Hiruzen calmly replied. I even have picture of him here. Wanna see them? He looks so cute. when he tries to ride our pet pig. Jiraiya mentioned. Jiraiya, please, Naruto always looks cute. Tsunade corrected. Anyways, now that I identities of my students is no longer an issue. Can we go back to the matter on hand? Hiruzen asked, not bothering to hide a smile. Not bothering to hide a smile. Greeting his teeth, the Raikage pondered his options. His phone to get the Byakugan was falling apart. To get the Byakugan was falling apart, and he couldn't see any way of saving it. His intently translated wasn't working, and it appeared that the intimidation tactic wasn't working, and it appeared that the Hokage had realized that the threat of war was just threats. Now, if Kumo went to a war against Konoha, the Raikage was sure that they could win, but it would have been a very would have been a very costly win. Now that two of the Sannin were back among Konoha's ranks, and he didn't want to start a war in the first place as much as it pained him. There was no other way out other than quit now. Alright, Hokage, I agree with your terms, the Raikage said, almost reading those words. Hiruzen's smile widened. I am glad you could see reason. Raikage Tono, Hiyashi Tono, please step forward. The Hyuga clan had moved towards them. He had his chin up and his face was sporting a smile of superiority. Well, Raikage Tono, I am waiting, the Hyuga said in an amount of mocking tone. Oh my, and the eternity of Kumogakure behalf. On my and the entirety of Kumogakure's behalf, I am sorry for the action of representative of on respon- representative on our village. Please accept our apologies. A, A looked as if he was in pain. Darui wondered why his boss and everybody else for the matter had such a hard time apologizing. After all, was really saying two short words that hard. Apologize accepted. Raikage Dono. I hope this incident even never happens again. Well, now that everything's settled, we should head back to our respective villages and try to forget that this unfortunate incident ever happened. Sarutobi said, wait a minute, Jiraiya said as he moved towards the Kuma ninja. It would be a shame if you guys went home empty-handed after getting here, so you can have this. Jiraiya handed Raikage a book. Icha violence? The Raikage asked, puzzled as he glanced inside the book. All other Konoha ninjas' sweat dropped. That's right, the second installment of my successful series will hit the bookstores next month. But you can now a copy have now a copy of that book completely free and signed by yours truly. What is this smut? You pretend to appear you sorry pretend to preach me with this badly written porn. The Raikage roasted. Hey, the proper terms is adult literature with erotic scenes. And as for proper written, look, what I do to your stupid book, the Raikage said as he angrily tore the book into the ground. No! Time suddenly slowed for Jiraiya as his beloved book fell to the ground with enough force to shatter upon impact. But then a miracle happened, and a pair of dark skinned hands caught the book before it could touch the ground. Yes! Saved! B, what the hell are you doing? The one who saved Jiraiya's book was the ninja with the sunglasses and scarf. One of the Jinjurikis. Come on, bro, don't be such a fool. This book you just throw is pretty cool. Now it was the Kumo ninja's turn to sweat drop. The Raikage, however, wasn't in the mood to get in an argument with his brother. Well, if you like it so much you can have it, then the Raikage said. Then he turned towards the rest of his ninja. Everybody else, gather your stuff. We are going back to our village. Jiraiya then walked towards the Raikage's brother. Nice to see that there are fans of my books outside the land of fire, Jiraiya said as he shook his hand. Name's Jiraiya, though you probably heard it already. Killer Bee is the name and being awesome is my game. Killer Bee replied, your book is sublime, but it misses some cool rhymes. That's nice. I will keep it in mind for the next book. By the way, I wonder if I could ask for a favor. Jiraiya said. Killer Bee nodded. This was a risky move since it meant sharing sensitive information with a foreign country, but chance was too good to pass. Jiraiya, Konoha has a Jinchuriki too. Do you know that once he is old enough you could do you think that once he is old enough you could train him in order to control his tailed beast? I would love to, pal, but I don't know I don't know if shall, because you see my brother has to agree. I see. Well, anyways, I need to try. I had to try. Anyways, I had to try. Enjoy the book then. Killer Bee couldn't be happier. Not only he had gotten an exclusive each a book for free weeks before it could be for sale, but that blonde Sannin didn't notice that he had been staring at her boobs during the whole ordeal. Thanks, Kami, for whoever invented the sunglasses. Wow. Sorry for butchering and sorry for striding so much. Alright. Sorry. A few days later, the Hokage's group returned to Konoha, revealed that they had avoided a war and they didn't have to surrender one of their bloodline limits to an enemy village, and despite his face remained as stoic as usual, Hiyashi Hyuga was one of who felt the most relieved. His brother was already waiting for him at the compound entrance. Welcome back, brother. I believe the trip was successful, Hiyashi vanquished to ask. Indeed it was, thanks to Jiraiya's plans and Hokage-sama's resolve, I believe we avoided a potential dispute. Hiyashi replied. I'm glad to hear that. Come on, I am sure Hikari-sama and Hinata-sama are dying to see you again. They walked through the front courtyard when some young main house boy and girl were practicing the gentle peace under the watch of a clan leader, Hiyashi. Hisashi. During the whole time I have been out, there has been something in my mind that I couldn't shake off. Why are you really willing to die in my place? You are willing to die too in order to prevent a war. Hisashi replied, but it was me who killed that Kumo ninja, and it was me who Kumo wanted. Besides, you didn't answer my question, the older twin asked. Yes, I was. But why? I thought you hated the main house, and I do. Make no mistake, but that doesn't mean I hate you. You're my brother and I love you. Main house or not, and I would be willing to die for you, just like how you would die for Hikari or Hinata. Isn't that enough? I would die for you too. You know, branch house or not, I I prefer if you won't. I don't want to have your death on my conscience, Hisashi replied. Come on, let's stop talking about the death we avoided a war. The Byakugan is safe and none of us had to die. Yeah, guess you're right. Did something interesting happen while I was out of the village? At the same time, the Raikage and his ninjas had also returned to the village, though their mood was considerably less cheerful for obvious reasons. While A wasn't a man who indulged often in alcohol, now he could use some sake, at least to forget the past few days. He remembered he still had a few bottles of sake the Lightning Lord had gave him as a gift for his appointment as Raikage. Opening the door of his office, he saw that there was a man already there, more previous the man who started all this mess. To begin with, a young man with shaggy white hair, pale skin, and had his eyes closed for some reason. Though maybe man was scratching it, since he couldn't be older than 16. Back already, Raikage Dono, the young man, replied for around a half smile, formed a half smile, and I guess that your considered plan failed. Contingency plan failed. The Raikage slammed the door closed and walked towards the intruders, trembling with fury. What are you doing here? I wanted to check the progress of the mission. That's all, but even if you didn't say anything, I could guess that it ended in failure. So you failed to capture the Byakugan princess and failed to prosper me a pair of pure Byakugan. Failed to prosecute me a pair of pure Byakugan. Disappointing. The Raikage's face considered in fury and grabbed the man by his robe's collar. Watch your mouth, brat, or you will find that my rage is all but disappointing. This is how Kumo treats their clients? The man replied, not losing his cool. This is the way Kumo treats those who feast the Raikage. You looked at me in the eye when I talked to you. I'm afraid I can't do that due to some impairment, the man said, opening his eyes, revealing two empty sockets. Even the Raikage was startled by such an horrible vision and released the white-haired man on instinct. Even if you failed the mission in every possible way, you can keep the payment if you wish. Let's hope I can find somebody who can actually help me in my endeavors. And with that man suddenly vanished as if he was never there to begin with. Now I really need a drink. Later that night, Tsunade and Jiraiya were in their bedroom, one each other's arms, trying to sleep. The slug princess then started to giggle, which evolved into a laughing fit. May I know what do you know so what do you find so funny? All of a sudden, Hime Jiraiya asks, "It's just I can't believe you tried to promote your book back then." Tsunade said between laughs, "I mean, we were trying to stop a war, and you tried to sell them." Uh, Smart. It was so surreal. It was so surreal. It's not Smite. It's adult literature with erotic scenes. How many times I have to repeat that? Jiraiya commented. Besides, that Jinjuri was a fan of my books, and I almost convinced him to train Naruto. Tsunade suddenly turned at Jiraiya and looked at him with her eyes wide open. Really? Because if Naruto learned how to use the Kyuubi chakra, then unfortunately he has his hands tied. he needs the Raikage's permission first, and I doubt that such things will happen anytime soon, though I do plan to train Naruto to use the Kyuubi's chakra myself. Really? Do you know how to do such things? Yes, I have collected some scrolls about Tail Beast and Jinchurikis and have some hints that might be useful. I hope you can teach him. Naruto's going to need all the help we can bring him. Naruto will grow up into a strong ninja just like his parents. You will see that when he grows up. They both kissed and within minutes they all fell asleep. If they only remained awake for a couple more minutes, they would have noticed that the crystal on Tsunade's necklace started to glowing with a dim tail light. That's all for part 4. But yeah, I have to see in the next one, and yeah, the link to my Discord server will be in the description. So I hope you join, and my user link will or user name will also be in there. So I hope you add me and join my Discord server. Alright, that's all for this one. I will see you in the next one. Bye bye.